So, by special request by Faizan Acceleratin 2920, how did you prepare and get everything organized and documented for developers using your system? So let's go. Let's walk you guys through this because I kind of gave you a brief overview. Now I have about 10 minutes to do a more thorough explanation actually for why this way of organizing design files works so much better, why it's what Lyft uses, what OneSignal uses, and what my small business Retrographic uses. Listen, we all have a limited amount of time and also a limited amount of time on this planet, but we all want to work smarter, not harder. So one of the things that I was trying to problem solve at Lyft was how do you design and keep track of everything as a designer and build institutional knowledge. And another question I was trying to answer was how do you collaborate efficiently with designers when there's a ton of them? So at Lyft, when I started, I was like designer number 30. And when I got laid off, I was designer 100 something, right? So when you have a team of 100 designers and you're the growth designer responsible for building things across many multiple designers' work, right? You need to check in with them and understand what they're doing. But at some point that becomes impossible because the time it takes you to check with all of them, all of their work gets updated. And even if you try to audit some specific system to understand how it works between yesterday and tomorrow, it's gonna likely change on you within 24 hours. So that's not possible either, right? So how do you do that in a way that you can understand the state of the world? And also, another big problem that I found during my time at Lyft is if you don't know the questions to ask, you can't even find the designers to ask in Slack information about it, right? You just don't know. So you need actually a global map that represents the state of production code that's not dependent on pinging people on Slack, and that allows you to see into also any ongoing experimentation in any specific area, and then make autonomous decisions from those designers, because the process essentially enhances your capability to make decentralized decisions for the benefit of the company without being an undue burden on your time, right? So that's a large spiel, but basically what I came up with is kind of a quasi version control system. Now this works in any software. It worked really well with Sketch and Abstract, but this is how it works in Figma in my own design files for Retrographic for designing the Sprocket Bicycle app. So I have 3 clients here. I have the iOS client, the Android client, and the web client. I have some other stuff, but it's not relevant for the purposes of this. So if we go into the iOS client, now iOS and Android will have a bunch of stuff pinned up here. It's the TOS file, the master blueprint. This is the super important mega file. App icons, the App Store file that shows you all the screenshots and all the ongoing experiments in every single country, in every single language, and the template file, right? So what we usually do is create a new file by duplicating it. Now you would go into this file and you would rename it to to whatever you want, like my special project where I'm going to be changing the home screen button, right? Okay, and now in this template, you'll see a couple things. You'll see the production side and the changes side, right? And this is to help developers understand what is the currently running code without having to go delve into the code themselves. And on the other side, what are the changes that the developer is having to make, specified by the designer, right? And so the way that you do that is you go back out here and you go for the iOS client into the master blueprint. And now you have a file here which actually documents what is live in production, exactly how it was specified and shipped. And in order for this to work, it has to not actually depend on libraries or components within Figma, because those things break this process. So instead, they're completely uncoupled from that. And that means that if there are any kind of changes, all of these artboards, see how many pages I have here? All of these artboards will not automatically update and change any of this documentation. So this is essentially a massive database of information for the company on what is shipped and live in production. It is a source of truth that is unaffected by any other work any other designer is doing anywhere in Figma for our team, right? And all of these files, you will notice they will have timestamps on each single artboard. And that allows us to have a lazy source of truth. So instead of trusting that all of this is up to date, the system that I figured out is to have timestamps using a widget. Now the widget I'm using, can I remember what it is? Datestamp, maybe? I don't remember the name of this widget, but it basically lets you set color, dates, and a couple of other properties. So you can go in here and you can update it to some other time pretty easily. And then these exist for every single artboard. So you can see, like, the red ones are from this year, the blue ones are from 2023, green ones should be from 2024 in general. So you can see in this way, when you look at this massive ass Wikipedia database, which things you can trust more and which things you can trust less. And kind of by following the Boy Scout method, as you're repeatedly updating these artboards and merging new ones into this master file, you will update the artboard to the newest date stamp and the newest year and the newest color. And so this stuff is constantly, it's a living document, it's constantly getting updated and refreshed, and you're constantly seeing newer and newer work pop in as more and more designers work on this file. Now, how do you do that in a very short 3-minute description? So I have a bunch of different files open here, but I'm gonna, just open one for you. So, first I'm going to show you these icons. So the template has a work in progress, right? Master files of any kind have a sun. And then also the sprocket, just to explain, is for the Sprocket Bike app, because there are other files that our company works on, because we have 7 Studio, which is a design development consultancy, so we work with all sorts of other clients, and those files might have different icons. Apple, obviously for Apple, a robot for Android, a globe with the lines for the internet, for web, right? And then other than that, if something is a work in progress, it has the work in progress symbol. If it's approved, it will have a check mark. If it's then shipped, it will then have a rocket. And then once it's shipped, then you will take a file like this and you will merge it, and it has to be done manually because there's no automated way like for code to do it. But you'll basically then, you see in this file, you can see a before production system. This was what was in the master file and got pulled into this file, which makes it really easy to get started. And then here you have what was after, right? So this stuff will get merged into that master file in the correct position, and then every single one of these things will get date stamped with the correct information. So after that's done, it goes from the rocket to the basketball. And the basketball means that a bunch of these files are already merged into the master file, and they're just waiting to be shipped out on Dribbble. So now you kind of understand the process. There's a pipeline for all of these in-progress files, and once they go through this design pipeline, they get merged into this master file, and it gets updated and timestamped, and then everybody knows where everyone's at. So I hope you understood the system and how important it is for developers